Hey, fifth graders, it's Mrs. Turner. So we are going to talk about 5-MBTA2. And our goal is I can multiply by a power of 10. So first, in order to multiply by a power of 10, we want to know what is a power of 10. So first, we need to go over what a power of 10 is. So you need a piece of paper and a pencil, and I want you to draw a very large rectangle, okay? And then inside of this rectangle, you can draw a line right down the middle. So a vertical line right down the middle. And then 2 to the left and 2 to the right. And then horizontally, you're gonna make a third. So you're gonna draw 1, 2 lines. Okay, so you should have 6 boxes across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 boxes across the top and 3 boxes down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see at the top we have 10 in the top right corner, and then next to it would be the place value hundreds, right? Well, 10 would be 10 times 1. It's just 1 10. And 100 is 10 times 10, or 2 tens. So using only 10 as a factor, how could you multiply to get a product of 1,000? So that would be 10 times 10 times 10 would be 1,000. So 1,000 is 3 of those tens. And then 10,000 would be those 3 tens that make 1,000 times another 10, or 4 tens. So 10,000 is 10 times 10, which is 100, times 10, which is 1,000, times 10, which is 10,000. Do you notice a pattern? So if 10 is just 1 10, and 100 is 2 tens, or 10 times 10, and 1,000 is 3 tens multiplied to each other, or 10 times 10 times 10, and 10,000 is 4 tens multiplied times each other, or 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, what would 100,000 be? So that would be 5 tens, and a million would be 6 tens. So let's think about an easier way to represent all of these numbers. So all of these numbers are called powers of 10. So the numbers that we multiply 10 is the only factor, and we can get 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million. So now we're going to use something called an exponent. So we can write all of these numbers using an exponent. So 10 times 10 would be 2 tens multiplied together, making 100. So 100 could be 10 to the power of 2. Or we could say 10 to the second power. The 2 is the exponent and tells us how many times to use 10 as a factor. And remember, factor times factor equals our product, 100. So 1,000 would be 3 tens multiplied times each other, so 10 times 10 times 10. So then we would use the exponent 3 to show that we're going to multiply 3 tens to get 1,000. So 10,000 would be 4 tens multiplied to each other, so we would write 10 to the power of 4. 100,000 would be 5 tens multiplied to each other, and so that would be 10 to the power of 5. And then a million is 6 tens multiplied times one another, and that would be 10 to the power of 6. So now that we understand what exponents are, let's multiply times a power of 10. Okay, so now our goal is to multiply the decimal 3 4/10 times 10 to the power of 3. So first, we should represent 10 to the power of 3 by the number that it is. I'm still going to use my place value chart as my strategy. And this 10 to the power of 3, I know that means that I have 1, 2, 3 tens multiplied times each other. So it's not 30 because it's not 10 times 3. It's 1,000 because it's 10 times 10, which is 100, times another 10, which is 1,000. So really what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this 10 to the power of 3 with its product, which is 1,000. So I'm going to multiply times 1,000. Now I'm going to represent my factor 3 4/10 in my place value chart. And I'm going to multiply the 3 times 1,000, which I know is 3,000. Now, this 3 and 3,000 should go in this thousands column. 1, 2, 3 columns to the left, since I am multiplying times 1,000, right? If I multiply times 10, that would be 1 to the left. Multiply times another 10, or I multiply times 100, I would go 2 to the left. Since I'm multiplying times a third 10 or 1,000, I'm going to move 3 to the left. So that's going to help me to figure out what 4/10 times 1,000 is. So if I don't know what 4/10 times 1,000 is, I can use this pattern and know that I'm going to be moving 1, 2, 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So that means that 4/10 times 1,000 would be 400. Now notice that we don't have any 10s, so I need to represent that with a 0. I also don't have any 1s, so I can represent that with a 0. Here's the decimal place. I could represent these numbers with zeros also, since I have 0 hundredths and 0 tenths. However, I don't really need to do that, since it's assumed that there's nothing behind the decimal if I don't put anything there. So then my answer is 3,400. And if I was estimating, 3 times 1,000 is 3,000, so my answer should be in the 3,000s. And my answer is 3,400. Now we know how to multiply by a power of 10.